Hey guys, welcome to House and Anna. My name is Anna and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite books. So, quarantine has given me a lot of time to revisit my favorite books, and basically that's like the only one of the only good things that have really come out of this quarantine. Yeah, quarantine is fun. Anyways, I don't know, I have a weird taste in books. I like young adult teen thrillers, but I also like non-fiction books, and I don't know, I think I like a little bit of everything. The only thing that's really important for me is that they're really like fast-paced. I don't like books that are really slow. So why not make a list of them? I'm gonna start with two romance novels. I don't usually go for romance. I'm more of like a crime thriller person, but I do really like these two books. I think it has a lot to do with the way the story is told. The first one is Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler, and I love this book because it's told in a very unique way. It's basically a big letter. It's someone writing to their ex, and she is giving back a box of their stuff. She goes through each item and she tells the story about it and why they eventually broke up. The graphics are really cool. Each chapter has one, and because it's of each item that she's like giving back, and it is so interesting the way it's told. I found it during a breakup, so it was very interesting. And also this author is actually Lemony Snicket. I'll talk about him later, but this is his actual real name and Lemony Snicket is his pen name, I guess you could say. My next romance novel is called Before I Die by Jenny Downham. This book is like the OG, The Fault in Our Stars. It's about a girl who has cancer, and I think what I really like about this book, because I don't tend to like romance novels, is that the character is very cynical about life. It has some great lessons. The story is kind of like sad, but also makes you laugh and all of that, and I genuinely do really like this book. Also really fast to read, like it's not that big. There's a really good movie about this book. It's starring Jeremy Irvin and Dakota Fanning. I don't think it's called the same, but it's this one. So leaving romance behind, I have a lot of books that are very like, I just like a lot of mystery, and I don't know why, and I think what really got me started on that was The DaVinci Code by Dan Brown. I love symbolism, I love history, I love codes, you know, action. So this book really did give me all of that. It looks huge, it looks massive, and you think you would never finish this. There's like 560 pages of this, and it's a page turner. Like, you never really get bored, so it goes by so quick. It's actually really rewarding because like when you're in the middle, you're like, damn, I've read a lot, and you just don't want to stop reading. This is a really good book. There is a movie with Tom Hanks. I think the first one is a good movie. The other two aren't that great because this is a trilogy, but I definitely like the book better, as in most cases ever. The next book, I lost the cover. It's called The Alchemist, The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel. This is a really good book. It is an adventure fiction type, and it's about a pair of siblings. They're twins, and they meet wizards and all of that, and it is really good. There's another famous book called The Alchemist, but this one is by Michael Scott.
It's Brittany, bitch.
And I definitely like this one way better. It's very adventurous and I like it. I really like it. And also like the aesthetic. So nice. So since I'm already on like a very like young adultish wave, I'm gonna talk about the next two. This one is A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. This is the pen name of the author that I spoke about, Daniel Handler. This is a super famous series. There's a Netflix series out that isn't that great. I mean, it's really cool to see the production and the makeup and hair and the costumes, but it's not like great. There is, however, a movie where Jim Carrey is the bad guy, Olaf, and he is so good, and that movie is amazing. The cinematography was done by El Chivo, Emmanuel Lubezki, who is a Mexican cinematographer, and the credits are also incredible, and everything about that movie I absolutely adore. Anyways, these books, they're for kids basically, but I discovered these when I was like 18 because I saw the movie since I was a kid and I was obsessed, and then at 18 I was like, I should read these books, and I think there's like 8 or 10 of these. They're super tiny. You can read them in like an afternoon each, and I really like them. They're really fun. I really like a good sibling story. That's why I like the previous book so much as well. I don't know why. I think it's because I really like my siblings. So Yeah, the next one, I think this should just be an honorable mention because I think it's on everybody's list. It's Harry Potter. This was actually, I think, my brother's, and then my mom read it, and then I read it. And I can honestly tell you, this is probably the series that I've read the most in my life. I really love it. I definitely grew up not only watching the movies, but reading the books. And it just holds a special place in my heart. And if you're a fan of the movies, like, the books are even better, which is crazy to think about. But it's also really fun to get to see the visuals that filmmakers imagined and also read the books, because then you have like even a better idea and better imagination. So this is definitely. And to finish off like very childish books and like franchises, I'm gonna talk about Percy Jackson. Hate the movies, like, oh, I cannot, like, they piss me off. They really piss me off because I'm a big fan of the books. I also like the second part that they added, the Lost Heroes series, that are related to this series. There's 5 books of the first series and then 3 or 4, I think, of the second part of the series. Oh, series, no. It's an adventure and it's all based around Greek and Roman mythology. The Greek mythology part is in the first part of the series, the 5 first books, and then the second part is all about Roman and Greek, which is amazing. And it's really fun the way that he explains mythology, because you don't actually feel like you're learning, but you are learning about, you know, actual Greek mythology. I still to this day reread this and have a lot of fun and enjoy it a lot. It says narrativa joven, which means young adult, but you know what? I guess I'm still a young adult, so I shouldn't feel guilty about this, but I really, really love these. They're so much fun. On a more serious note, on my favorite books, I have Comets in the Sky by Khaled Hosseini. He has 2 really good books. One is like 1,000 Splendid Suns, I think that's the translation. And then this one, Comets in the Sky. Comets in the Sky is in my favorite books ever. It's a beautiful story about 2 friends in Afghanistan, and I think it's set in 1970 something, 1975, 1977 around. And they also have a great film. Not a lot of people have seen it though, but it is a beautiful film. So if you don't want to read it, the movie's also great. Definitely a must watch and a must read. Another book that I really like is by Colson Whitehead. It's called The Underground Railroad. I love this book. I think it's especially really relevant right now in the Black Lives Matter movement. Basically a couple of slaves, I think their names are Caesar and Cora, I want to say. And they're trying to escape being a slave through the Underground Railroad and, you know, find their like freedom. So this is definitely a really good one. And it's on Oprah's book club. So like, Oprah said you'd have to read it. Like, if Oprah said so, you have to do it. I'm sorry, it's the rules. Another one of my favorite books is called The Goldfinch. This looks massive as well, and it is a really long book, I'm not going to lie, but the story is so interesting. There was a movie made about this, not good, but the book is amazing. It's basically about a kid who becomes orphaned and somehow acquires this famous painting, and he has it, and it's called The Goldfinch. It has like crime and friendship and coming of age and great. This is the last physical book that I have. This is called Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. I think this is the book that actually got me hooked on reading. I was reading, you know, Fairy Oak. I was like on 5th grade or something like that, and I was like, oh, whatever, because all my friends were reading it. And then I finished them, and we were at my grandma's house, and I was like, I don't know what to read now. And my mom was like, you need to read this book. I don't remember what it is about, but I know that it's really good. I used to love it. You know when your mom tells you something, you're like, nah, just because you're my mom, you know? And I was really bored, so I actually did pick it up. And damn, I should not have been reading this when I was that young, but my mom completely forgot the storyline. But what a book, ladies and gentlemen. It's a crazy story of a woman who has 4 kids and her husband dies. So she takes her kids and her to her parents' house, they're rich, but the dad, the grandpa of these kids, he doesn't know that they exist. So they basically lock them up in an attic, and they just basically grew up there. Definitely recommend. Now, those are my favorite books that I actually own, but the thing is, a few years ago, we moved houses and we had to leave a few things in storage, and someone broke in and they stole a few of my books. So I don't have them all. So I have 4 more that I want to talk about that I just, you know, I have them here in my phone. The next one is called The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This book is crazy, and it's an autobiographical book, which for me is insane to think that people sometimes grow up like that. I grew up in a really normal family, so it's like really weird to read these kind of stories, but there's a lot of lessons about life and family and relationships and what someone does that can affect you and how you can affect someone else. So it's a great book, never boring at all. Like, you laugh, you cry, you're angry. Like, this book, it just gives you everything. I think it's an amazing book. And my grandmother was the one who like told me to read it, and I was like, damn, you're really good at recommendations. And the next one is called Alice in Wonderland. I mean, who doesn't know this? But there's actually a lot of books from Alice in Wonderland. I genuinely love this. Lewis Carroll can like, he has amazing metaphors. It is always so fun, so interesting. The movies aren't like amazing compared to the books, but I mean, they're pretty good, especially the animated version. The animated version is so cool. I mean, my Instagram is literally the Cheshire Cat. Like, I am obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. So definitely a must read. The next one is called Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. It's basically a woman who wakes up with an amnesia every day, you know, so like every single time she wakes up, she doesn't remember anything at all. And she keeps a diary where she writes everything that she does that day and what she finds out and what happened to her, because her amnesia comes from an accident. But then she starts finding out some weird things. So it's basically like a thriller, crime kind of thing. And it is so good. Like, I started in an afternoon and I just finished it at like 3 a.m. because I just couldn't put the book down. It is so good. And the last book is called Inkheart by Cornelia Funke, and there's actually a movie based on this book. It is also a really good movie, but the book is, again, even better, and it's also a trilogy, so 10 out of 10 would recommend. And it's about a girl who has the power to bring things to life when she reads, and it just gets really, really interesting because there's history behind that and so many things. And honestly, great adventure book. Love it. And those are all my books, all my favorite books at least. I've read a lot of other books. I really am a bookworm. Lately, I haven't been reading as much as I used to in high school because, you know, I work and I study now, and I do YouTube and stuff, which is a lot of time. But let me know if you've read any of those books, if you like any other books, if you have any recommendations, because we're in quarantine, so now I have time. And that is it. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and check out every Monday and Thursday for new videos. Thank you guys, bye!